Hey, how's it going? Bob DeBoo here for Open Studio. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about using the metronome in some creative practice ways to deepen our sense of internal time feel. Okay, that's a kind of a mouthful, but basically we're going to use the metronome in various stages of what information it's giving to us, practice with that, and see how good our actual time is, and get a better idea of how we can practice that better. So just try this with me. We're going to get right into it. You don't need an instrument for this specifically, and honestly, everything that we're practicing today can be done on any instrument. Every musician in the band, we're all responsible for having good time, and it's by practicing stuff like this, practicing time and rhythm, which is just as important as practicing any of your scales, chords, any kind of melodic or harmonic information. Of course, you should practice that, but you should practice just as much, and maybe even more, practicing your rhythm. All right, especially from the role of a bass player or a rhythm section player. But as I said before, it's everybody in the band's responsibility to have good time. So we're going to work on that today. We're going to get started here. We're just going to snap on 2 and 4, which emulates like a hi-hat kind of ground beat type of feel. I'm going to set the metronome on 160 beats per minute. Okay. So that's what 160 beats per minute sounds like, right? So I'm going to arbitrarily just say number 1, and then let's start snapping or clapping or whatever on beats 2 and 4. So if I say 1, 1, 1, snap on 2 and 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, right? So can you line that right up? This is often how jazz musicians will count off tunes anyways, snapping on 2 and 4. It's very common. 2, 3, 4. And you want to really try to get that lined up, right? Okay, great. So that metronome is basically, it's all 4 beats of a measure of 4/4 at 160 beats per minute, right? So a mid-tempo tune, like if we're walking or playing any tune. If we take half of that amount of information and instead turn the metronome to 80, we do that real quick. So I'm going to take my metronome, move it to 80. But now we're going to say that this is half notes, right? Okay, so what does that mean? I could say this is beats 1 and 3, so it'd be the same tempo. 1, or 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. You could think of it that way, or you could call this beats 2 and 4 actually, which is a really common way to practice too. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You hear it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. So it's a really common thing to do. It's really common to practice like in a 2-feel or walking, playing melodies, all kinds of stuff. You can do that with the metronome just on 2 and 4. That was just at 80 beats per minute. So everything we're going to practice today is based off of Bouncin' with Bud, great Bud Powell tune. And it's just a vehicle for which to practice. We're going to work on playing in a 2-feel, walking, and then playing a bit of the melody. It's only going to be over the A section. So now I'm going to start this metronome back up, and I've got it set to 80. But again, this is going to be beats 2 and 4. So let's play this 2-feel bass line. It's really just half notes. There's no like rhythmic embellishments or anything like that. But we want it to be right down the middle. Let's try it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. How about one more time? Trying to evenly divide that, right? Let's do the same with quarter notes now. Ready? So we're going to play the same chord changes, just play the written bass line that I've got over here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go. Cool. So it's great to practice this in half notes, quarter notes, but now we can also move this into playing melodies, so more advanced rhythms and improvising as well. but it can really show strengths and weaknesses on that front too. So let's play like just the first 8 bars of the A section of Bouncing with Bud. Okay? So here is that melody. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So that's fun to practice. Putting a metronome on 2 and 4 can really help to simulate that hi-hat feel, or that ground beat, whatever you want to call it. And it's a great way to practice. It really is. But let's take it to the next step. So what we started with was 160, then we moved it to 80. Now let's divide that in half and move to 40. Okay? So here is what 40 sounds like. But we're keeping the same division, subdivision, pulse, whatever you want to think about. It's still 160, except now we're just checking in with this metronome. Let's just say it's beat 1 right now. Okay, so do you hear this clicking? Say 1 when it clicks. 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay? If you're ready, if you can find 1, find 3. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Now snap on 2 and 4. 1, 1. So now we're getting less information from the metronome, right? And so we're a little bit more accountable for our own internal beat, which is the whole point of this lesson, okay? So now let's play that same material that we were just working on at 80 beats per minute. It's all still 160, by the way, but we're using less information from the metronome. So let's work on this. Let's work on our 2-feel bass line, okay? 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Cool. Okay, so let's think about it this way now. Let's, instead of calling this 1, let's call it beat 4. 4, 4, 4. But there's still the same quarter notes that are happening, okay? So say 4, 2, 4, 2. So where's 1? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? You can move this around a lot, actually. You could call it beat 1, 2, 3, or 4. Eighth notes, any eighth notes like the and a 3, whatever, but for right now we're just calling it B4. 1. And it's still actually 160 beats per minute, right? We're just getting less information. Let's play that 2-feel bass line again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go. And if you notice that maybe you're getting ahead, maybe it's feeling like maybe it's kind of like wavering around a little bit, that's totally fine. We're working, we're practicing, right? So if you find yourself feeling the tempo a little bit differently than where the metronome's giving it to you, just try to readjust as it's happening, okay? So let's play our 4-feel, or our walking bass line with this on beat 4 now. Again, this is at 40 beats per minute. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm pushing it. Got to slow it down. Let's repeat this one more time for me. Here we go. Okay, cool. It's feeling a little bit better, a little bit more dialed in, relaxed feeling, but still on point, still in tempo. Let's try the melody, okay? This is kind of where it always separates, you know, people that have done this more than otherwise, you know? So let's try this out. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. okay, it's feeling a little bit more relaxed to me. That felt more settled. You can do this with any melody, anything you're practicing. And if you like practicing too, consider checking out our Bass All Access Pass. We meet up once a week and do sessions just like this, except it's more interactive, obviously. And we can communicate and work on stuff together, which is really cool. On top of that, you get access to all the great courses at Open Studio, bass courses, that is, by the great Christian McBride, the amazing Ruben Rogers, a few courses by myself, and I have a new course that just came out entitled Walk Like Paul Chambers. It just dropped the other day. I'm super excited about it. If you're into that and just growing and getting better, then highly recommended. Let's move on. So we'll take it to the next step now. We were just practicing at 40 beats per minute. Still, it's all 160, remember, except we're getting less information from the metronome. We're just dividing that time, and we're going to keep dividing it. So we were at 40 and calling that beat 1 and then beat 4 of every measure. So if we divide that in half and move it to 20, we can call it beat 1 of every 2 measures, or beat 4 of every 2 measures. Let's check that out. So here now it's 20 beats per minute. Okay? So if I had just initially said on the video and was like, okay, play along with this, be like, Bob, that's the slowest ballad in the world, right? And it probably would be. But we can use this just to check in over the course of 2 measures and see where our own feeling, our internal beat, lines up with this. Okay? Again, this is not to get like perfect time, and I don't think anybody has perfect time, but it can help us with our relative time, much like relative pitch, perfect pitch, etc. That old conversation. It doesn't need to be metronomic, and we should make everything feel really good, but we want to have a really good division of the beat on our own. Again, that's what this video is all about today, and the stuff that we're practicing. Okay, so I'm still talking. Do you hear this click? When that clicks, next time, try to say 1. Try to catch it. 1. 1. Nope, see, I'm ahead of it, and that's okay. 1. I tend to rush as it is, so. 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. Try this with me. Snap on 2 and 4. Try not to rush like I am. There we go, and it'll settle in. So again, if you find yourself off, just readjust. We're just practicing, trying to get better. Let's try to play that 2-feel bass line now with our metronome at 20 beats per minute. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's repeat this a couple times. One more time. And you just check in every 2 bars. Is that where it should be? Pretty close. A little ahead still. Let's go to the walking line. Here we go. One more time. You could also practice this on beat 4, saying this is beat 4, just like what we did when we were at 40. So you could say, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. In 4, walking line. I don't know why. I prefer that. I prefer to put that on beat 4. It just feels a little bit more, I don't know. It just feels better to me. Let's try it with a melody and call this beat 4 still now. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm totally off. And that's okay. That's all right. Let's move it. So let's call this metronome back on beat 1 and play the melody now to balance it with bud. Just these first 8 bars. And here are the subdivisions internally. If you want to start by a snap in 2 and 4, that could help. Let's try it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Cool, okay. So it felt fairly balanced. Try this. Again, this is at 20 beats per minute. You can do this with just about any metronome, modern digital metronome. The one that I use is called Time Guru. Goes down super slow, so you just got to find a metronome that goes really slow. Another way to practice stuff like this too is actually in the same app, in Time Guru, you can do this thing where you it'll slowly start taking away beats and it'll hide them from you, so you can just check your own internal beat. But this is, I think, a funner way to do it, and it's a little bit more open feeling to me. You know, I know what to expect and I'm looking for the form, right? So that gets us 2 bars. If we divide that metronome click in half down to 10, then that'll give us, we can call it beat 1 of 4 measures. Let's listen to that now. Remember, it's the same tempo we started at 160. We're just getting less information from the metronome and relying on our own tempo, our own time, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? We're just dividing time. That's doing it perfectly, and we're approximating it, making it feel good inside of that. One. So, just practicing this really will help solidify your time. Let's try that 2 feel bass line. 1, 2, 3, go. Just keep this on loop right now. So we'll check back in every 4 bars. Here we go. A little late. One more time. Just want to be sure. Let's go to walking, okay? Here's the bass line for walking. Now. Again. See, I'm rushing. 1. 1. 1. Let's try the same thing with the melody now. Okay, this is where I really just falter, but that's why we're practicing. Make sure I'm with it. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Okay, so that's with practicing it where it's every 4 bars. Now the next step obviously is moving it up again, dividing 10 beats per minute in half, which will of course give us 5. So how many bars will that be? We were just at 4, so that'll put us at 8 bars. So we're gonna have 1 click every top of 8 bars. This may seem drastic, may seem kind of crazy, and whatever. It's a great way to practice, you know what I mean? You'll start feeling it, and if you're already down with this, keep going slower. You know, keep getting less and less. But let's just feel where 5 beats per minute feels like, and then see if we can do the same practice that we were just doing on all these other divisions. No? One. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still rushing. 3, 4. But that's okay, all right? Let's try it with the 2 feel bass line. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to adjust. I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. Let's see where we're at now. I'm still a bit ahead, and that's okay. Let's try to keep this open. Where are we at? Closer, right? So I'm getting a little bit more where it's at. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm dragging. Where are we at? Oh. So, and that's okay, right? For that to fluctuate and feel back and forth and everything like that, you just keep working on it, okay? I'm gonna press the click again so I can get my bearings, and then let's try it in 4, okay? We're just trying. One, 2, 3, 4. Doing it. Okay, so that's starting to feel a little bit better, right? Now we're just playing bass lines that are right now we're just playing the lines that I've written, and so it's a whole other thing to try to improvise with this type of concept, but it can be great, really enlightening. So record yourself while you're practicing stuff like this, see how it feels, see how good your time actually truly is. Again, the goal is not to have complete metronomic time. It's just more to have a better sense of relative time, you know, like keeping your pulse really, really solid. And as a bass player and any instrumentalist, as I was saying earlier, is super duper responsible for this, right? So this is just a good way to practice that and to really check in with how you're dividing time. So let's see if we can try that melody now. So I'm totally gonna falter on this, and that's all right, I don't care. I'm practicing, right? This is what we should do. We should definitely fall on your face when you're practicing. That's the point. So I'm gonna hit it, and we're gonna be at 5 beats per minute, and I'm just gonna like try to have that happen and then play the melody, those first 8 bars to the Bouncing with Bud. Let's try it. So here's 5. And I think it's here. I'm just gonna check in here. I'm ahead. 3, 4. I'm going for it. Again. Two, 3, 4. Hey, pretty close, you know what I mean? So I'm starting to feel that, and it's feeling more open. That's what we want. You want it to feel real nice, and practice a tune. So you could just practice playing over the chord changes. Let's say we're just gonna practice over the first 8 bar chord changes of this now and walk wherever we want to. Do you know what I mean? Just practice walking, practice playing at a 2 feel, and just trying to make it feel good. Do this for extended periods, do you know what I mean? And it's gonna really help you to feel where your beat is so much. So just gonna give it a shot here, and going to just walk. I'm gonna play in a 2 feel over the chord changes to Bounce It with Bud for a minute, just see how it feels. Let's see if this is, a little late. So you notice too, I'm keeping everything, I'm not putting in any extra rhythms while I'm doing this, not doing any skips or jumps and things like that, and that's intentional. Because I'm trying just to hear these half notes, which is hard enough. Let's see if we're close. Oh, down one. I'm gonna go into walking, just trying. See, way off. And a bad bass line. All right, so I could keep working on that. I definitely will, honestly. But try this yourself. Try this using less and less metronome. You can just keep dividing. So if you start at 160, go to 80, go to 40, go to 20, go to 10, go to 5, and check back in. See how that feels now when you're playing at 160? That should sound really familiar. You should be locked in too, right? So that's it. It's as simple as that, using a metronome that's consistently getting slower, keep dividing that time in half. Again, any of the older like analog metronomes, the little guys that you see on top of the piano, they go, they're not gonna go this slow. So get a metronome, a new age, one of these digital guys like an iPad or in your phone, something like that. And it can be really, really helpful. So just get less information from your metronome and check in. And then make sure too that you're practicing without a metronome. How does that feel? You know, check your tempo at the beginning, check your tempo at the end. And again, if you're rushing, if you're dragging, it's not a huge deal, right? It's better to be aware of it and just to understand where we sit in our tempo just a bit better. Because the more awareness we get about our own playing, the better everything is going to feel and sound. That's what we want, right? Just to get better, whatever that takes. So thanks again. My name is Bob DeBoo here for Open Studio. Thanks so much for watching. If you're into this, please click like and consider subscribing to YouTube, to the Open Studio YouTube channel. And happy practicing. See you next time. Peace.